Ole Gunnar Solskjaer talking about the penalties that they didn't get. But as Craig rightly points out, when it was 1-1, West Ham had one, which totally changes the entire game. But let's just forget that conveniently for a minute. I also remember Jurgen Klopp making the statement that he did back in January. I remember our response to it, that comment makes no sense without context, without talking about the decisions that Manchester United did get. And we thought it was out of place and silly, as is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's response at this point. There has been, everybody has recognized, and the referees said that they were going to referee games a lot differently this time around, this season. And you've seen that all over the park, every single team. Why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer somehow feels that is aimed at Manchester United, specifically at him and Jurgen Klopp's comments, is simply beyond me. Big clubs, I'm always amazed at big clubs who seem to have and get everything they need, or certainly get a whole lot more than every other club, but it's never enough. You know, we have more money than everybody else, but we need a Super League to really compete. We play too many games because of fixture congestion, but let's enter a Super League because that will fix everything. And now all of a sudden, you've gone from getting a penalty every 2.8 games to a penalty in 5, I think, as he started just so on ESPN FC, when the league average is a penalty every 4. Stop arguing for nonsense.
So he's had the most penalties?
He's had the most penalties since he's taken over.
Stop arguing. So, it's utter nonsense.
So before we go to... Am I thinking here... Because they've had plenty of penalties.
Nine penalties more than any other club since Ole took over.
But am I thinking here that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has just lost a Champions League game recently, got a big win at West Ham at the weekend when Matt Noble missed a penalty in the end, and has just gone out the Carabao Cup, where both teams made changes, but he was at home and he's getting a little bit of stick about that. Let's talk about something else.
Yeah, and we are.
Let's swing the narrative to talk about penalties, and let's get away from the fact that they're coming off a loss.
While he does that, he doesn't do a very good job of it. You know, we're not talking about their losses, but he doesn't have that standing.
Yeah, but he's got nothing to lose, does he, Jan, by saying this, in the sense that you can have a little influence on the referees. It's not really going to bother too many people. We're here talking about it, and we're not talking, as Craig said, the fact that he lost to young boys and out in the Carabao Cup.
Well, first of all, one night, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer went to bed so happy that he got Varane, Sancho and Cristiano Ronaldo. When he woke up next morning, he realised, I have to win something. And this week, he went out of the first try. That was the League Cup. And what he's doing today at the press conference is quite interesting because you can see different ways. First of all, there is a big compliment to Jurgen Klopp that he's got under Ole's skin. I mean, that is an angle you can have to it because this is a long time ago. So why do you do it today? Of course, because you want to have a bit deflection for what is happening. And I think that is also a consequence of that. And we saw the records that he had more penalties than every other team. Having said that, and I think it's clear to point that out, they should have had 1 or 2 penalty the last week, and they still should have had that, although they have 9 more than the other teams. But I think that when you saw especially these two penalties against West Ham, or the potential penalties, I agree. I don't think that VAR will say, well, we'll give it to the big teams or we got something against the big team. But I'm sure that some players will come with a reputation. And when Cristiano Ronaldo came to English football, I'm 100% sure that the referees sat together. It's nothing to do with his Manchester United player or whatever. And they would sit down and just watch out now. He is a fox. He will try to do some stuff. And if you see, especially the last one, it can look like a clear penalty, but you also saw just a centimetre before it started, Cristiano Ronaldo was on his way down. If he waited a bit, it would be a clear penalty. And when then it goes to VAR, these are the things that they're looking at. So, but what Ole did today, I mean, I'm not sure that I think he did a Machiavelli, he did a power battle, he wanted to get a deflection away from the other things. But I think that could be a boomerang for him. Because for me, that was the first sign that Ole got Klopp a bit under his skin.
It's funny that, because, and I don't think it's changed, but it's funny because when we used to go and play at Old Trafford,
we never got a penalty.
I remember exactly. Yeah, we never got a penalty, and by God, 50% of the time it felt like we got penalties against us, and we always used to say, "Listen, Ferguson is playing mind games. Sir Alex is playing mind games, and has done for years with the referees. Be very, very careful around these United players in the box because they'll give them a penalty."
Right.
And that, I don't think, and I think what Shaka's saying is correct. I think there is that mindset sometimes when you go to Liverpool and now City and United and Chelsea, that these things can happen. But I think also what we're seeing is that, and this is not a new thing, is the standard of refereeing in England, although the laws around the game have been loosened slightly, and that's good, that really hasn't improved the generalisation of the standard of the bulk of the referees. Not them all, but
here's the thing, and Jan touched on it. This can prove to be a boomerang for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Sir Alex Ferguson could say those things, and he could have that influence and impact on referees because of how good a manager he was, because of how winning he was. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if he does not win, these comments don't serve as pressure on the referees. They just serve as a poor manager looking for an excuse. And that's the difference. That's why I say I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has the standing to make these kinds of comments. They can be damaging.
Last word on this, Jan.
No, just Shaka. I mean, he's a poor manager, whatever. You can't call him that after being second in the league last year. He got to have the right to say whatever he wants, and if he wants to do that, he will do that. And secondly, secondly, I think that has nothing to do with his standing. I think that a referee coming to Old Trafford tomorrow, is he more likely or less likely to give Manchester United a penalty? I've said it before, I'm a son of a referee. Believe me, the referee won't give them a penalty tomorrow at Old Trafford.
Bloody hell, we've got some in common here. Hey, I'll get blamed for that. You're calling Solskjaer a poor man.
I'll tell you what, at the end of the season, Manchester United don't win anything.
Yes.
All people will be talking about with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the fact that they didn't and how he tried to blame everybody else but take any responsibility himself. I guarantee it.
Because of the lack of penalties.
Because I'll be sure to bring it up.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.